Hey, good morning, everybody. So, let's see if we can get this adjusted a little bit. There we go. So, for this live stream, we don't have the screen on behind me. It seems that apparently some of you, it's been brought to my attention that if you have high-end, really good stereo, that you may or may not be able to hear clicking either coming from this old screen, or it may potentially be coming from my soda actually getting placed too close to the microphone. So we're kind of rearranging things a little bit here in order to try and stay away from causing the clicking noise for people that have higher end stereo stuff. So if we need to go and display something, I can turn the screen on behind me. I've got it set up. I'm just not going to do it unless we actually need some information back there to talk about. So in updating everybody on the YouTube situation / my situation, YouTube has decided to declare that basically all live streams are going to be on limited monetization because they're overwhelmed with the live stream, and that they're no longer giving violations for talking about the coronavirus and stuff like that. So you're more than welcome to go and ask questions about what's going on here in Maine and stuff like that. Feel free to write out virus or whatever. It doesn't matter. Basically, because I'm such a small YouTuber, they're going to give me limited monetization. They're not going to remove my video if you guys talk about it. So you're welcome to go and bring it up if you have any questions about what's going on in my area and things like that. As far as my own personal life is concerned, I'll talk about a little bit to do with that later, but I've got to keep it pretty brief and simplistic because of the type of work that my girlfriend does and where she works. But let's see what we got up here. Let's see. Somebody's at a parking lot church. Interesting. That's an interesting concept. Never heard about a parking lot church. What, the hat? Oh, my girlfriend found it, and I got joking I'd wear it in a video, so therefore I ended up wearing the hat. You know, one of those, you open your mouth and you insert foot, only in this case it was a hat. So apparently I'm wearing it in a video. I said I would, so I'm doing it. Let's see. Parking lot church. That sounds interesting, considering the minister that just died from deciding to go and have a church thing going on anyway, even though he was told not to. But, that's neither here nor there. We all know that I'm about as religious as a tomato on a Tuesday, so moving on. So let's see. We ever going to see your Monte Carlo? Yes, the Monte Carlo is going to get pulled out just as soon as I get the project in front of it started and moved out of the way. The Monte Carlo is on the to-do list for mid-summer as far as pulling it out and starting to put it back together. I need to get the project that's in front of it done first, and at least to the point of mobile. Not going to give away any more information, though, as far as that's concerned, because that video still hasn't gone up yet. Jessie was going to be helping me with that video, but she's currently working like 50 plus hours a week. She is on day 13, I believe, of no days off. And she was going to be helping me with the video on that. And so we're delaying that at the moment. Also, as you guys have seen in the pictures that I've been posting, especially if you watch on my Instagram and you watch the community page, first, we ended up with a snowstorm that decided to drop 8 to 12 inches on most of Maine, which was immediately followed up by a rainstorm that had 40-mile-per-hour gusts, and that was then followed up by a rainstorm that had upwards of 60-mile-per-hour gusts. I've got trees down everywhere around me. My chicken coop fence got thoroughly destroyed across one side. On my third of a mile long driveway, I lost 3 decent sized white birches. I lost 2 maples, and I lost swamp alders all down through all of it. It ended up snapping everything off down across most of that area. So as it is right now, I've spent the last 2 weeks in just catching up, trying to go and get a chance to even be able to work on anything. Um, I do have the pole garage out in front of my garage bay all set up. I've redone the poles on that this year and set it up different than I've had in the past. The tarp for that should be coming in. We'll be getting that put up. At that point, I'll be able to work in underneath. That's really important to me because, as you guys know that have been following, I did have the issue with the moles and stuff like that getting removed because of possible skin cancer and active growth. And so I really need to make sure that I get, out of the sun when it comes around this summer. All right. Craftsman Crusher says, how is Mud Wizard? I really haven't played around with him too much. The problem is right now my lawn is so saturated that those bear claws, even just trying to just gently drive across it, dig like the lugs on those bear claws, because they're the 8-ply full aggressive ones. They're that deep. I mean, they're 1.25 inches deep. If I just drive across the lawn, I rip it to shreds. So we're leaving that alone for now. Yeah, why am I wearing the hat? Yeah, we covered that. I got mouthy. That's why I'm wearing the hat, because I got mouthy. Let me see. And will I be building Jessie a mud mower? Jessie actually supports me doing the mud mower stuff, but she doesn't want to ride one herself. She has agreed that in the future, if I get a decent ATV for her, that she'll do ride-alongs, which will be great. That it is what it is. It doesn't matter whether it's a mud mower or an ATV. Sooner or later, you're going to get stuck. So I'll probably end up finding her a decent ATV at some point and set that up for basic trail riding. That way, at least there's a chase vehicle like they do in Baja. I'll be able to go and do the riding, and she can be my chase vehicle for pullouts and stuff. But all right, let me see. How much for the TV behind you? Trust me, you don't want the TV behind me. That TV behind me is one of the really early flat screen whatevers. I mean, flat screen TVs are like this thick. That thing is like this thick. It's old, it's ancient, it's original. It only displays off the computer in 3 settings, and they're oddball setting. Yeah, 3 settings. I did really good there. Anybody catch that one? It only displays in 3 settings, and it's horrible. Let's see. Hi from Greenville, Ohio. Hey. Hi from Belfast, Maine. Let's see. What happened to your finger? Well, that's from the Mud Wizard thing. Basically, I fractured down across the side of my knuckle, and I ended up splaying it. I can confirm it by shining a flashlight through it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but that's the fastest way to go and find broken fingers, is in a really, really dark room. You take a flashlight that's a really good lumen, and you set your hand flush on it and splay it up against, and then bring your eye down to it, and you can actually see through your finger in order to find broken bones. But yeah, basically I broke it right at the knuckle, and the knuckle is splayed off to one side. If you look, you can see the difference. See it? See how that's bumped out? So I'm going to end up having to go and just ride it out. I got to keep it bandaged up and pushed together. That way I don't end up with bone spurs on the inside of the knuckle. The last thing I want to do right now is end up in the ER at the Belfast Hospital. They have had virus infections found at that hospital, and there is a growing group of viruses being found in Waldo County, where I'm at. They've had a growing group of viruses found at my girlfriend's work, and so it's getting real around here. Here in the state of Maine, the governor just released that we're in another 30-day lockdown. So we'll see what happens. Hey, jerk of all trades. Nice to see you, dude. I hope you're doing well, and I hope everything out at your place is going good. And hopefully you'll get some more videos up soon, tinkering around. Get some junkyard goodies going on. I just scored some junkyard goodies today. You wait. I'm not going to say what I traded for it, but you wait. I traded something you would never expect to trade for a lawn tractor. So yeah, today we ended up on a tractor hunt in order to go grab a tractor, social distancing and everything. And getting a tractor today, I traded. I didn't buy. I didn't get it for free. I traded something. So we'll have a video up later. Was not expected. Thoroughly just one of those lucky moments. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Guess she didn't think your tractor's sexy. She didn't want to jump on it. Actually, Jessie likes the tractor. She's very much so into the idea of mudding, and she's very much so into the idea of 4x4 trucks and going to the mud runs and all that kind of stuff. She's definitely country girl. But the thing is that Jessie is tiny. She's very petite, and she likes the idea of mudding in a truck. She doesn't want to mud, on a mud mower and the stability and stuff like that. And I can respect that. I mean, it is what it is. That's just like I won't jump onto a really high-end motorcycle because I'm one of those morons that just has to see exactly how far that gas will go. And if I got onto a really fast motorcycle, guaranteed I'd end up racking it around a tree with myself. So I can respect that. It's not that she doesn't appreciate what I do. It's just not her thing. And that's part of any decent relationship. There's going to be stuff that overlaps, but there's also going to be stuff that's individual. So it is what it is. Redneck Speed Shop says, how's it going? Going pretty good. So far, Jessie is healthy. So far, nothing's been caught. I'm doing pretty good. I'm making progress on a bunch of different stuff around the house, and we're going to get back to doing videos pretty soon. For those of you that saw my last video talking about things, I am in quarantine here because of Jessie's work and because of Jessie potentially having exposure. So please, if you're one of the people that I have talked with about doing some YouTube work and maybe some collabs and stuff like that, please do not show up here, even if you know where the place is. I need to proceed as if I am in quarantine because of the 14-day gestation period that this stupid virus has. There is a chance I could end up catching it without ever knowing, and so need to make sure that everybody is safe. Yeah, just rehashing on what needs to be said. So yeah, we're doing pretty good. I got the old Husqvarna that was out front. I managed to get that fired up, the one that I did all of the electric fuel pump videos on, the 2 videos that I did on that, the one where I put on just the pump, and then later on I ended up coming back in order to put a regulator on because it was flooding out if it was not in full throttle, so we had to put a regulator on. That regulator actually comes from a Volkswagen Beetle. I thought that was a riot. I've got a Volkswagen Beetle part running my tractor. So as far as that kind of thing is concerned, we will be getting some videos up. It's just I've had to go and survive the last 2 weeks of this stupid Maine weather. Today, Maine, in its absolute infinity of fun weather, decided it was going to be as bright as possible, and then just downpour, just utter total downpour. Oh, by the way, did you notice the lighting? The lighting has changed. The lighting's awesome. Here, let me take the hat off so you can see my face is actually all lit up and everything. Actually, I think I've got too much lighting right now with the camera light enhancing umbrella thing over here in the side. So a big shout out and a thanks to my friend Mark and Raymond. They ended up donating some lighting in order to go and fix all of the lighting problems I had here for doing these live chats. So a big shout out to Mark and a big shout out to Raymond for donating lights in order to fix this problem. They watch every single one of these live feeds. They know me in person, and they decided to go and make sure to help me out with that. So big thanks to them. They're awesome people. Couldn't say anything bad about them if I had to, and I can say tons of good. That's the way it really ought to be. Let me see what we got going on here. How's the house cleaning going? Will you be moving back in? So, Franco, as far as the house cleaning goes, the real reality is it is horrifically trashed, and high quality people are very sneaky people, and they are unquestionably, yeah. So, basically, every single bag of trash that I have found, whether it should or should not have any reason to, has some sort of aerosol can in it. I have found bags of toys that randomly had a Pam spray can in it, and I have found hairspray cans in just about every bag, and I have found something in just about every bag. So whether I want to burn it off or whether I want to go and take it to the transfer station, I'm literally having to sort through bags of trash because they decided to take my stuff and throw it in with the trash bags that I'm finding around the place. And along with that, they decided to throw in an aerosol can pretty much in every single trash bag. So I can't burn anything off, and I'm having to go and wear plastic gloves and sort through somebody else's trash in order to find my stuff. Probably one of the most aggravating things I have ever dealt with in my life. But you know what? All it does is just solidify that I made the right choice to go and get them people out of my life. So, hey, whatever. I don't care. It's just another nail in the coffin on the fact of being done with them. So, as far as getting into the house is concerned, it's going slower and slower on being able to get into there, but I am making progress. It's most likely going to be a construction project through till next year. Jesse and I have decided we want to change the format of the way the house is laid out. So we know we've got construction to do, plus we've got the fact we want to change the way it's laid out. And that's going to go and hamper things a little bit on getting moved in. Right now, the big thing is money. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands upon millions of people right now that are flat broke. I'm one of the very lucky few that I have at least a consistent income coming in from YouTube. Yes, it is like 60% of what it normally is, but 60% of something is better than nothing, which is what a lot of other people have right now. So I am really grateful for my YouTube work and for all of you guys that have allowed me to survive this as best I have, and Jesse and John and everything else. So, you know, you got to have money in order to be able to put up walls. You got to have money in order to be able to fix electrical. You got to have money to go and fix lights that were smashed. You got to have money in order to go and fix things that are broken that shouldn't be. As it is right now, the priority is survival. The priority right now is figuring out a plow truck to survive next winter, figuring out better insulation for the garage in order to survive next winter, figuring out getting the apartment to the point that it is not livable for winter, but more enjoyable to live in for winter. The apartment is livable. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but it is not comfortable. And so my goal at this point is just getting to the point that the apartment is comfortable and surviving through. But Hey, Care Bear. Jesse just logged in. I made a promise I would wear the hat in the video. I'm wearing the damn hat. I love you, and I hope you're doing okay at work. Love you. Let me see. All right, you guys got a couple of questions going on up here. Let's see what I can do. I traded a goat for a push mower. Dude, I would trade a goat for a carrot, for God's sake. I had to deal with my ex's goats because, yeah, well, it just was what it was. I'll tell you what, you will totally understand my feeling on goats when you see the next tractor hunt video. At that point, all of my feeling towards everything my ex ever tried to make me do will totally make sense. It'll be in the next video. I guarantee you'll figure it out and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you see it in video. Bought a Lawn Chief a couple of weeks ago and thoughts on them. Know of any attachments that it might have. The problem is it depends on whether it's like a 70s Lawn Chief or whether we're talking like a rebrand Lawn Chief, because there are really old 70s Lawn Chiefs which had the double pulley clutch and everything and used a Peerless 700 rear transmission. And those things really didn't have anything for attachments and all that kind of stuff. They were mowers, that's it. And then you have the Lawn Chiefs that are actually rebranded MTDs, which I think were in the 90s, if I remember right. And those are basically just a hood that's the difference. So you need to compare your chassis to find out whether there's something that was made that you can retrofit on. Okay? Oh, on another note, as far as things that are coming around here, I am working on the chicken coop because Jesse has managed to find somebody that'll actually sell us chickens through this whole apocalypto thing going on. Plus, the local hardware store has said they're still bringing in chickens. So we are going to redo the chicken coop that was destroyed. I'll probably do a basic little video on redoing that. That thing is absolutely trashed. It was thoroughly just misused and structurally damaged and everything. Some fat person had to have deliberately walked in there and jumped up and down on the floor or something. The floor wasn't broken when I left here, and it is broken right through. I don't know what. Oh wait, no, I do know what fat person. Anyways, so whatever it was done by high quality people. We're going to undo and we're going to shore it up. Now that we don't have a rat problem here due to high quality people, I'm sure we can patch rat holes and not have them reopen anytime soon. And we should be able to go and get things going. So we'll go and bring the chickens in and we'll get that up and running on the channel also. Over on RCG Racing, I do have the mower that we're going to start working on. And as soon as I can order up some gravel to recoat the driveway, we're going to start doing the testing that we were talking about. All of this really bad weather the last 2 weeks really blew out the driveway really bad. I don't have any on-hand gravel right now to fix it, but I did find a company that's willing to tailgate spread right now. Their prices are actually really good. So we're going to get some tailgate spread put down through, and then we're going to start having fun with that. Let's see. I traded 2 roosters for a Craftsman mower like 2 years ago. You had somebody who wanted 2 roosters? Gee whiz, up here, roosters are free. Like literally, there are roosters for free everywhere up here, all over the place most of the time. Because the problem is, you get all these wannabe hippies that decide they're going to raise chickens, and then they end up with too many roosters, but they're wannabe hippies. So, oh no, I don't want to kill it. Oh my God, where did my chicken nuggets come from? Yeah, we'll leave that for another discussion. Let's see. Hey, Computer Geek. Hello from Gasport, New York. Yeah, don't light a match near that place. Hope all is well and your family and yours and staying safe. Yes, we're safe. Um, if you didn't happen to catch it in the last video, you guys aren't going to see John in any videos for a while. John is with his biological mother. He's with her. He is safe. He's a long way away from everything that's going on right now. She is currently living in a location in order to go and stay away from this virus that is very out in the boondocks. So hopefully John will be fine and he's well away from the situation going on here in Belfast, Maine. '70 to '80s Mopar voltage regulators can be adapted to a lot of things too, and they're like $8. Yes, I've heard of that. Along with the, is it GMC? Is the GMC regulator the one that they end up modding for Jeeps or something like that? There's one of them where it's interchangeable, or there's like a quick mod or something you can do. I always forget which one it is. Yeah, jerk. Cleaning out the house is a lot like cleaning out that storage unit I helped you with. It's absolutely disgusting. Everything is covered with personal filth. And it's not even household normal filth. It is personal filth. And everybody here right now knows exactly what I mean. And if you don't, then unfortunately you're probably the one making personal filth. Because everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. Damien says, thank you for the stickers in the mail. Hey, dude, awesome. I'm glad you got the stickers. You made one into a magnet. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, dude, you should consider yourself lucky because that was the last time I gave out stickers. I can't give out stickers until after I can come out of quarantine. As it is, I'm not sending out any stickers or anything because the stickers are plastic, whatever. And if for some reason I'm infected and a carrier, I could actually transmit. That's pretty scary. That really is. The idea that I could send a sticker to somebody for my YouTube channel and I could get them sick. So for now, we're not going to do stickers. I do have them. Check this out. When all of this is done and said and over, I'm going to order up another set. But look, so there's probably a good 20 or 30 there. I'm going to keep a few because what I do is I use them for tagging my builds and stuff like that with the Redneck Computer Geek orange. And yeah, so we will do stickers again. We just can't do it right now. So thank you everybody for understanding that, okay? Oh, by the way, so this time we're having Canada Dry lemon flavor. I don't know about you, but do you have a soda that is like your crack soda, that addiction soda where, normally I drink a soda like once a day, once every 2 or 3 days or something like that now. And this stuff here, I can buy a 12 pack and if I do not pay attention, I will drink the whole bloody thing in one day. This is just my crack addict soda. It's horrible, but I couldn't pass it up when I saw it. Do you have a crack addict soda? I'm going to be starting a NE range mower soon with a right angle Oh, you must mean a racing mower. Do you? I'm assuming you mean NE as far as a racing mower. Redneck Speed Shop. Try that again and clarify. I don't know the terms as far as racing machines. Yes. Okay. He says yes. So it is. It's a racing machine. Cool, dude. I totally respect all of you guys and doing the racing stuff. I would love to do that. Totally, totally would love to do it. Hunter asks, do you play any instruments? I used to. I couldn't now if I had to. I played clarinet when I was a kid, and I also played tuba from 7th grade all the way through to graduating high school. I was okay at tuba. I made it to states and I did some competitions and stuff. I never ranked very high, but I did play tuba quite a bit. Nowadays, I don't play anything for an instrument. It's just not my thing. I'm also asthmatic, so instruments, the more the more I got into them, the more I found that I just could not keep up with stuff that I wanted to do. I could play basic little tunes and things like that, but anything that got really up and quick and coming and stuff like that, I couldn't manage to do it. Hey, parts and pieces. Okay, I don't do shout outs very often. So everybody listen up on this one, okay? I don't do shout outs very often. Parts and pieces. I want you guys to go into this chat window thing here, open up parts and pieces, go subscribe to him. He is working on a mower that's actually a really nice, well-built build. He's keeping it progressive like I used to do my old builds. He started off pretty basic. He's got a couple of different things that are on there for upgrades, but he started off basic. He's testing, he's tuning, he's building it bigger and better as he finds his limits. And the guy is fun to watch. He's got a nice personality. Go check him out. Parts and Pieces. He just posted in the chat. Go click on him. Go join his channel. I want to punch in for him getting my approval. So go get him. Let's kick his channel up. He deserves to go and get into the 200 subscriber mark easy. Let's see him go up for it. I like to have Coke and ice cream together. You and John would get along. Seriously, like I could talk that kid into cleaning the entire apartment if I wanted to. If I offered him that I would make him a root beer float, I bet. Root beer floats are his like number one thing of he'll do anything to get. He'll be a perfect child for 3 days straight if he knows that at the end of it he gets a root beer float. Totally just one of those things that that you have to hold above them every once in a while. You got to find that negotiating chip with your child sometimes. Have I ever mowed with a, let's see. Have I ever mowed with a Craftsman GT6000 mower? The older 90s ones. I actually have one in front of the house and I have a motor for it. I just haven't had a chance to put the two of them together dealing with other stupid stuff the last few years. That's actually on my to-do list for this year. I want to get that fired back up. It has been sitting so long that I guarantee, unfortunately, that the deck is probably horrible. But who knows? Maybe I'll find a deck. I've had stranger things happen this year. I have had so many situations this year where I am thinking I just need that one stupid part. And for some reason, magically, I've ended up with the one stupid part. So we're going to go and get a motor put in there and we're going to see if we can get the deck put together. I love mowing with that thing. That's part of the reason why it is when the motor died, I refused to get rid of it was because of the fact I loved mowing with it so much. There's a lot of flex and articulation in the deck. You can set spindle rollers in the back and on the front on those. They're absolutely worth the money and the headache in order to get them running right. Oh, sorry, Adam, I missed you. Hello, fellow Belfaster. Glad to go in here. Glad to go in here as somebody else is riding out this epicenter of the pandemic here in Belfast with me. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Catching up. William says he mowed for 21 years with a GT6000. I don't doubt it. I love them. When the problem with a GT6000 is you either love it or you hate it. They're just one of those mowers where either you're willing to put up with its massive amount of quirks, or it breaks, you have enough, and you sell it off. There seems to be just two schools of thought when it comes to that. Let's see. Junkyard Dog, how far away are you from Old Orchard Beach? I'm very far away from Old Orchard Beach. I'm about 2.5 hours at least, probably. I don't know. Google it. Look up Belfast, Maine. I'm pretty sure I'm at least 2.5 hours away. But when you consider that the place that I'm planning on taking Mud Wizard to in order to test it and bounce it around and stuff is about a 2-hour drive away, I guess I really can't say much. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, light snow this time of year sucks. When I was tractor hunting today, it started snowing. I could have cried. Like I really had moments of like, Mother Nature, you're gonna make a grown man cry right now. Because I have been fighting and fighting and fighting to try and get outside of the house, be able to go work on some stuff, clean up my yard. Man, I can't wait for you guys to see the yard footage and stuff. I have been chiseling away at cleaning up high quality people garbage on the yard to the point that I'm actually starting to see my yard for the first time in 2 years. I love it. It's absolutely really making me feel so much better. All right, let me see. Okay, the chat window just decided to do a glitch jump on me. Give me just a sec. So for some reason, YouTube's overload on live chats has caused the chat screen that scrolls for us to start glitching every once in a while. So if I blatantly apparently miss a question or something that you post, there is a very good chance that the chat glitch that a lot of us YouTubers are running into might have eaten your comment. So please don't get irritated. Just wait 10 or 15 minutes, and if I missed it or something, please feel free to post again. I'm going to run this through all the way until 7:30, as long as my voice will hold while I'm drinking soda. Yeah, asthma sucks. Jesse's actually got worse asthma than I do. And yeah, she was just writing about having to use a nebulizer, a breathing nebulizer and stuff. For those of you that have dealt with asthma and stuff like that, those nebulizers actually work really well. John actually has one that he uses on really bad occasions and things like that. It's worth looking into. I thought it was just going to be one of those, just shut people up type treatments that, occasionally doctors do with that kind of thing. But it actually ended up really helping with John, and I totally sign off on the idea that it's worth looking into. Okay, let me see. Apparently, we're having a massive discussion about nebulizers and GT6000s in the chat. Let's see. Can you tell how to adjust the valves on a Briggs Intech? Actually, I'm probably the worst person to ask for that because I actually adjust them by feel. You know how some people can do the timing on a car by listening to the firing? And they're usually pretty good at it. For me, for some reason, I can tune valves by feel when it comes to the Briggs valves. The big key about tuning the Briggs valves is that you have to pass the top dead center before you tune them. And that's what a lot of people don't pay attention, they don't realize, is that on most Briggs, you have to find top dead center, which is simple enough. You just slide a screwdriver down through the spark plug hole, and then as it comes up, you hold the screwdriver, and when you hit that top, you're actually going to be able to turn it a slight amount before that screwdriver actually starts to drop again. It's not like most engines where it just do-tunk. It comes up and it sits there for a little bit before the turn. And that's the valve lash release going on. And you need to tune it after that release happens, but before the piston goes down. I tune them by feel. So I really can't tell you much on that. Murray Mayhem, who is Darren Taylor, he used to have a really good video on it. But if you look it up, there's all kinds of videos on how to do it. That's part of the reason why I don't bother posting one up. A, I do it by feel, and B, there's just so many videos on it at this point. If you go to search it on YouTube, I guarantee you'll get hit with at least 100 plus videos. Speaking of getting hit with stuff, for those of you who do tractor stuff like I do, I actually made a discovery, and I'm going to pass it on because I want this to become a community thing. I'm going to pass on the information that I just discovered on Instagram. The hashtag tractor hunting, hashtag tractor hunting, is not in use. I actually just posted an Instagram picture with hashtag tractor hunting, and I was expecting there to be thousands of pictures. I discovered that apparently it isn't an in-use hashtag. So, for those of you who do what I do and you want to go and get in on the idea, hashtag tractor hunting is open. So I posted one today. I'm going to continue to use that, which means if you guys start posting under hashtag tractor hunting, we can get something going for the community as a community hashtag. So I'm passing that on to you guys and information for you guys to be able to post. So if you go tractor hunting and you post some videos to Instagram, hashtag tractor hunting, we're going to grow this thing, okay? So let's try that. I hate the world today that it's all hashtag this, but let's do it, okay? Whoop, it just did the jumpy thing again. What's up with the Not the Norm project? The Not the Norm project, I have the parts to continue. I just don't have the money right now. There's a lot of other things I need to do with the money that I have on hand that are way more important than Not the Norm, but we will bring Not the Norm back. It's not gone. It's not forgotten. It's just on the back burner. I actually dug out to it today in order to be able to double check everything on it. So it looks as if everything on it was left alone for the most part. So we are going to work on bringing that one back. All right, let me see if I can catch back up. Yet again, we're on that stupid glitchy thing again. I'm right now mowing with an XLT 1000. I love LT 1000s. Those are just absolutely one of the best mowers that were ever cookie cutter created. Um, I will say though, an XLT 1000 is great if you're doing a lot of like, if you're doing the mud mower stuff, if you're doing a lot of like tricky hills and things like that, the gear drive in them is a lot nicer to work with. But an LT 2000 usually has a slightly bigger mower, a better front, a better, slightly bigger motor, a better front axle, and the transmissions that are in them are usually actual Peerless hydros. Um, and those things are just great for lazy day mowing. So yeah, that's my input on that. High quality garbage. I'm borrowing that. The phrase is high quality people. That's been the ongoing phrase here on this channel is high quality people. Um, but yeah, high quality garbage works too. Compression release. That was the term I was trying. So bragged away gets it here. When you're tuning a Briggs, you have to go 1/4 turn in order to bypass the pressure release in order to tune the valves. And yet again, that's another one of those things that I tune it by hand. Um, you can oftentimes find that decompression point if you go to top dead center, you grab that valve, the top one, and you rotate it, you'll actually feel it change. The tension on it will change as the compression release kicks in or kicks out, I mean. So you can actually feel it when it hits that point. That's the reason why I've said numerous times I tune by feel, I don't tune by specs. Um, the other thing that I have found over the years working on Briggs is that for some reason the tuning specs on the intake on a Briggs as the motor wears in seems to be overly tight. As the Briggs wears in and it gets older and it starts to have a little more play, what I have found is oftentimes I have to tune the intake to a little bit out of spec for it to actually work correctly. That's just my personal thing of dealing with them. And you guys have seen it. I pull a lot of motors out of the grave. So it works for me. Just passing that on. Have you seen a Cub Cadet 147? We actually don't get very many Cub Cadets up here. As far as I know, there's actually only 3 dealerships for Cub Cadet here in Maine. And the nearest one to me is almost a 45-minute drive. The other 2 that I know of are hours away. So I rarely run across Cub Cadets. We don't have any old Cub Cadet dealerships up here in Maine, so I don't see any old ones. And I also don't do restorations. iSaveTractors.com, that dude does restorations, and that dude is good. If you're subscribed to me and you're not subscribed to him, you're doing something wrong. iSaveTractors.com. Tell him RCG sent you. All right, let me get caught up here. Hello from Pennsylvania, where the weather does stupid things like Maine does. Sunny and warm one day, and cold and spitting snow today. Yep, pretty much. And guys, I apologize if I end up messing up when I'm reading your stuff. I'm dyslexic and I have reading problems to begin with. That's why sometimes I have to slow down in order to be able to read. So if I mess up one of your statements that you wrote out or something like that, I do apologize. You can ask anybody that knows me in person. I don't read unless I have to. It just is one of those things. So thank you for writing out really precise questions and stuff like that. It really helps me. I have a John Deere L111 with a 20 horsepower V-twin Briggs. It surges when the choke isn't barely on. See, okay, the moment you're at that point that there is some variance upon the choke being on or off, you've got a draw-through problem, which means most likely you have a tube somewhere in your gas system that is confining you. You've either got a Venturi tube that's got a partial block, you got a gas line that's got a partial block, or you have a fuel filter that's got a partial block. The other thing that I've noticed about the V-twins is that they're singular Venturi double vent, double blow through single Venturi. And what'll end up happening is it tees off the Venturi coming up through. And what'll end up happening is for some reason, it'll go perfectly fine to one side, but it'll end up being clogged to the other just a little bit, and it'll cause some really stupid things. So take your time to pull off all the front of everything, drop your bowl, spray that valve out, the Venturi, and make sure to clean your needle and everything, and double check everything. The other thing is those carburetors on those have plummeted in price. You can get a cheap Chinese knockoff now for about 25, 28 bucks. So it's not like it used to be with those where they were hard to find. Nowadays, it's really easy just to throw another carburetor on. Just keep that in mind. You should do a speed tractor. That's the whole idea with RCG racing. The idea with RCG racing is we're going to be working on doing racing, dragging and stuff like that. Our goal is to be able to go and branch off into that channel. Mud mower stuff's going to end up most likely over there. The gas power wheel is going to stay on the Redneck Computer Geek channel because it's considered kids content. Thanks, YouTube. Otherwise than that, yeah, we're going to go and do some speed racing. That is the goal. Unfortunately, we got a pandemic going on, so I can't really do that right now since every single drag strip within the entire state of Maine is closed until the end of May now. Let's see. Henry, I apparently missed your question. Go ahead and write it again, I guess. Sorry. Thanks for the hat compliment. Yeah, did you catch that? That was a flicker. Hopefully we don't lose power. I just saw that. All right, well, hopefully we don't lose power while we're dealing with this. Let's see here. All right, let me see. Redneck Racer, I'm glad. I Save Tractors is cool people, definitely. You're doing a restoration on a 1970 147. Cool. I'll have to go and look that up. Like I said, I don't deal with older machines, but I'm glad to go and hear that I was able to help you in some way. I'm not sure how my channel working on newer machines did that, but thank you. I'll take that. Oh, yuck. Apparently old coffee doesn't mix very well with ginger ale. There's our learning experience for tonight. Yeah. Okay. That was horrible. All right. Let me see. I have a 4 a.m. You what? Did you just write your schedule time in the chat? I have a 4 a.m. Oh, wait, you put something else. I have a 46-inch Ariens tractor. Okay, so you have a AYP chassis tractor rebranded as an Ariens with a 20 horsepower Intech V-twin. I love it. Works well. Pulling my boat and meat smoker. Awesome. Cool. A lot of those Ariens tractors are actually interchangeable parts with Craftsmans of the same size and Husqvarnas, just in case you're looking for parts. So if for some reason you end up finding part numbers and having issues finding one that's for your machine, cross-reference that part number with AYP part numbers, and I bet most likely you'll end up finding it. Just passing on a bit of information there. And I'm not judging your machine for what it's called. I'm just letting you know that most likely it's got an interchangeable set of parts with certain other machines. The same thing as like a 90s Toyota Corolla is the same thing as a Geo Prism Chevy. They're exactly the same car, just somebody else put a different logo on it. Just passing that on. Why do you not support ATVs? Nobody said I didn't support ATVs. I support alternative ATVs, but I didn't say I don't support ATVs. I like the challenge of using something that I built myself. There's a difference. I'm a built, not bought person. So yes, I respect ATVs. I like ATVs. I've had ATVs, but I find ATVs boring. I would prefer to go and spend $600 to go and build something that is more fun, more entertaining, and I can fix myself on a budget rather than spend $3,000 on something that, yeah, it'll make it through every mud hole the Mudmore will do. But then again, I have personally seen $3,000 ATVs that couldn't make it through the same mud hole that my machine made it through. Case in point, there's a video on YouTube of where this guy showed up with an ATV, thought he was going to be the one pulling all of us out, and we pulled him out twice. I'm doing that counting thing again twice. It's because this doesn't move correctly, and so I can't count. I really should just count on this hand because I can't count with this hand anymore. So yeah, as far as the ATV stuff is concerned, sure, I can buy a machine. I could buy a machine all day long that does what my mud mower does. But it's no fun. Like it's way more fun to do what I do. So, and the other thing is I love supporting kids. I love supporting kids and I love supporting young adults that are trying to do something that they're able to go and spend a minimum amount of money to go out in the woods, to go out on their property and able to do something that is fun and constructive, and anybody can do it. I mean, just a basic welder, and you can manage to go in just a basic welder, and you can manage to go and take a $50 lawn tractor, and you can make it as good as a $500 ATV every day of the week. All right, that's a really good question, Brad. Okay, so Brad08 says, have you had any negative experience with Chinese carbs? I had a few that worked poorly out of the box. I just used the parts in the OEM card to remedy. Yes. Specifically Nyko knockoffs. I don't know. I have a very firm belief that there is something about the way Nyko carbs are designed that the Chinese knockoffs just can't seem to duplicate it. And the Nyko that I mean is the one that specifically was on like 17 horsepower Briggs, where you drop the bowl, and instead of the bowl having a float assembly and that's it, it's also got a plastic insert assembly in it also. Whatever is with those carbs, I have had probably a 1 out of 3 ratio of those being bad out of the box from Chinese. They just don't tune correctly. But like you pointed out, I actually have found oftentimes that for some reason, if you rip the Chinese parts out and you put them into the OEM, for some reason the OEM will run at least good enough to go and get the machine puttering around and being able to go and play with it. And that is really weird. Tecumseh, the 13 horsepower Tecumseh Enduro motors, those Chinese knockoff carbs, I would say probably 1 in 20, probably 1 in 20 or so. You have to take the bowl off and you have to go and jiggle them a little bit and monkey with them. It's something about the way they're assembled. The number one problem I have found with Chinese knockoff carbs is they get put together very roughly. They get thumped together. And what I've discovered with a lot of them is that if you're having funky issues, if you just pop the bowl off, pop the float, pop the needle, and just kind of play with it a little bit, put it all back together, nice and gently, they run. I think it has more to do with the brute force that they're assembled with, because they're trying to get as many done as possible. They don't care about quality, they care about quantity. And so that is my one thing with Chinese carbs, is that it is very common to get a Chinese carb in the mail that has either the needle is stuck sideways, it is dropped out, or it is stuck in. Or it got assembled with, when you look at the needle coming down, like say my thumb is the needle, you've got the point, you've got kind of a little bit of a pitch out here, and the point coming down, what I have discovered is sometimes they're kiddied into there because they don't take the time to drop them in all the way before putting the rod through the float piece. And if they're kiddied like that, when you go to start it, it'll start the first time you put gas to it, but it'll flood the motor out because it's just pure feed straight through. And then the moment you kill the motor, all it does is just pure feed straight into the motor. So that is the one thing that I have found with them that you do have to pay attention to. If it's a good enough carb that it does have idle control adjustment screw, that's the other thing that I have found is you're dealing with something that was built quantity, not quality. And what I have discovered is that idle adjustment screw oftentimes is set wrong. It works exactly the same way as the Briggs manual will tell you to work it, but it's not adjusted the correct number of turns out. So that is the other thing that I oftentimes will tell people is that, yes, you can get one, it'll run, but occasionally they need tinkering and tuning because you're buying quality, you're buying quantity, not quality. So yeah, you do run into about 1 in 10 or so, I would say, ends up needing to be tinkered with. Jiminy's, that was loaded. I almost grabbed that thing again. I'm going to put that over here. Yeah, okay. If I grab that coffee one more time and try and drink it with my soda, I'm probably going to end up bleh. Okay. Hunter, yes, I have tried everything for settings. I've had 16 different email conversations with YouTube where they consistently insist that supposedly my YouTube channel is kid rated. Basically, the problem is my number one feed word for the channel is Power Wheel. And the term Power Wheel is kid rated. So that's the reason why it is. There won't be any of the Power Wheel stuff over on RCG Racing, because otherwise that one will get branded as kid rated also. Oh, wow. Hey, thank you, Chris, for the tip. Holy cow. I don't know what that was about or where that came from, but thank you. Wow. I'm kind of speechless on that one. Okay. I dare you to make a homemade ATV. You know, that dare's kind of already been done, considering I built a mud mower, called it an ATV, registered as an ATV, ran it legally in the state of Maine as an ATV for 3 years, and Mud Wizard, which I just built with full front suspension and everything, is an ATV by Maine standards, along with about 16 other states. So, good one on you. Already built an ATV using a mower. Let me see. Randy, my grandson loves riding my old mower. No kidding. No kidding. There isn't a kid alive who doesn't turn into a gearhead by starting off as driving some junker of some kind around the property. I mean, John at this point, there's very few tractors he can't drive at this point, and he's 7. I mean, give the kid his props. He gets it. All right, apparently this is a 2 soda chat. Okay. Mill Hill Mudmower says, yep, a welder, a grinder, and a pile of scrap steel, and you can do wonders with a lawn tractor. Yeah, you can. Speaking of welders, if I manage to go and get a hold of another 100, 150 bucks or so, I'm going to pick up another cheap welder, but I don't think I'm going to go and grab the one that I already had before. Unfortunately, high quality people stealing my welder means that I got to buy another welder. Oh, I get to buy a new tool. It's horrible. So I am planning on buying a cheap welder, but I'm actually planning on buying a name brand cheap welder that is cheaper than most name brand cheap welders as soon as they come back in stock. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic stupid stuff, they don't exist right now. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Rigs often have more. Okay, apparently you guys are having some sort of discussion about whether opposed Briggs or Kohlers or something like that is better. Okay, you guys enjoy your discussion. YouTube is getting stupider more and more every day. No kidding. Without question. Um yeah. I they I mean you guys have seen my girlfriend. I mean, you've seen what she looks like, you've seen the pictures and stuff like that. And they ended up tagging her as a child in one of my videos and giving me issues about it. Like, for real? It's amazing. Yeah, it's stupid. Jesse can't stop comments. That's why you weren't allowing comments? What? I don't turn off the comments on my channel. That's a YouTube glitch. If you want to go and confirm for yourself, the next time you go to one of my videos that doesn't have the comment stuff, feel free to go and click on the thing that says learn more. It's amazing what you can learn by reading nowadays. When are intros going to happen? I haven't. I like the way I do my stuff. Um, so it is what it is. I don't care to go and do intros. They just irritate me. To be quite honest, intros actually end up causing problems with your analytics on a lot of videos because people that watch you consistently actually learn to skip your intro, which actually can cause you analytic problems. Um, so yeah, there probably won't be an intro. I'm sorry, dude. Do you know anything about the Poulan Pro 16 horsepower engines? Okay, the first thing to know about a Poulan Pro engine is to ignore that it says Poulan. What you want to do is figure out what kind of Briggs it actually is, and then from there, work on it. Um, so as far as your Poulan Pro is concerned, figure out what motor it really is because it's rebranded. It's not a Poulan Pro. Poulan doesn't make their own lawn tractor engines. Uh, Randy has the right idea. The best motor is a running motor. Yes, the best motor is a running motor. I mean, as Parts and Pieces over here has managed to go and show, you can have a lot of fun with a really tiny motor as long as you gear it correctly. Um, I mean, seriously, that dude's running his rig on, I think it's like a 6.5 if I remember right. Parts and Pieces, can you confirm, is it a 6.5 horsepower Predator that you've got in that? It's a vertical shaft Predator if I remember right. It's supposed to be on a push mower. Um, which is a riot. I love it. Everybody who knows where to get old Honda ATVs, please tell me. Well, you see, it starts with a J, and then it has a yard, and usually an unk. I know, I mean. That was one of my uncle's old jokes when we were at his place. When everybody would talk about trying to go and find something. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. Oh, I know where you can find it. It starts with a J. It has a yard and then an unk. But for real, up here in Maine, if it's older than like 15 years or so, you just don't see ATVs around here. Basically, unless it was garage kept because some Grammy wanted to go and use it in order to haul stuff out to the garden and things like that, and it stayed in the back of her garage during the winter, you don't see older ATVs around this area. They're rotted out, they're rusted out, they're dead. It just is what it is. And that's the same thing when you guys ask me about really old tractors. That's the same problem that I have up here, is that when it comes to old tractors, they're just rusted out. There's nothing left to them. You got to remember, our winters up here, they get down to negative degree temperatures. So any kind of water that gets into them at all, it ends up causing all kinds of damage. All it takes is just a little bit of water getting into that head gasket, seal, or anything like that, and it'll blow a hole right through the head gasket by spring. That's what I see with a lot of these Briggs, is the single cylinder Briggs that are in Craftsman tractors. The hood on those Craftsman tractors is like this, and there is a vent in the hood up here, and that vent is actually right over the top of where the head gasket is on the motor underneath. So what happens is the water goes straight through, it ends up in the crack of the head gasket right here, and it freezes. And everybody who managed to pass earth science in high school knows that when water freezes, it expands. And so all it's got to do is just sit there just 1 or 2 seasons, and by the time you come back to it, it's got that top of the head gasket blown. And we've seen it time and time again around here, all over the place on different machines. So just keep that in mind when you're talking about whether I've seen certain machines and stuff like that. The other thing is a lot of like Graveleys. Graveleys are one. I never see Graveleys. And I don't usually see Bohlins unless somebody brought it up here with them when they moved in the 70s. That's about it. I see Cub Cadets, but usually more modern ones. Wheel horses. I do occasionally see older wheel horses that had 633 Peerless in them, but they're rare. They never have mowing decks that are intact. And usually you've got somebody that insists that it's supposedly a $500 machine when it hasn't run in years. Yeah. Ironically enough, there's an ATV junkyard not far from my house that has a ton of old Honda ATVs. Yeah, we don't. That's the other thing up here in Maine. We don't usually have ATV junkyards, and the reason being is because Maine, with all of its waterways and everything, it has a whole ton of really strict, I wouldn't say unnecessary, but not necessary laws when it comes to junkyards. And so that's the reason why my stuff, I have to keep a certain rollover going and prove that I have a certain rollover going, because I'm near a river. And if they wanted to, they could come in and they could investigate me, see whether I've got any oil leaking out of machines. They could give me a whole ton of issue for having a junkyard up here, which is why I have to maintain that I'm rolling over machines. And one of the ironies of that situation is this YouTube channel. I always have figured that if I get hauled into court in any form over whether my machines are getting rolled over or not, I'll just send them every tractor hunting video that I have ever shot as proof. I think that would be an utter riot. Oh, here, Judge, here's 300 hours worth of tractor hunting. I hope you learned something while verifying that I buy, swap, and sell machines. Anyways, that's just part of Maine when it comes to that. That's the reason why it is older snowmobiles, ATVs, lawn tractors, stuff like that. It's the junkyard laws up here in Maine are way stricter than they are in a lot of the other states across the United States. And so between our winters and between junkyard laws, we just don't have the old machines up here. Would you trade your most recent hunt? Would you trade your most recent hunt? Are you trying to offer me a trade? Wait, which recent hunt are we talking about? I picked up a machine today, but you guys haven't seen video on that one. So I'm assuming that you must mean the Murray that I picked up. I mean, if you want, you can send me an email about what you're talking about, but you've got to be here in Maine and you've got to be close to me and tell me what it is you're trying to trade. So if you want, you can send me an email. It's just Maine, as in the state, MAINE. I had to think about that one. Mud, MUD, mower, MOWER at yahoo.com. Maine Mud Mower at yahoo.com. Let me see here. Craftsman, in my opinion, are throwaway tractors. Any modern day Craftsman, I would agree with you. Up until about 2006, they still built the original AYP series of machine, which was originally Electrolux and then something else before that. I don't remember which one it was. I'm sure somebody will correct me here. But yeah, as far as after 2006, yes, they became very throwaway machines, unfortunately. And the problem is a lot of the little smaller Craftsmans became even more throwaway because they're actually MTD clones, which infuriates me. All right, let me see if I can catch up here. Apparently there's some sort of thing in Canada you guys are talking about. Okay, cool. Have fun, Canada. All right, guys, so I'm going to give you the heads up. I got about 8 minutes left on this. I'm starting to lose my voice from talking for so long. That's why I keep these chats down to about an hour, but we've been running them about an hour and a half lately. Let me see if I can grab the last couple of things we got going on here and then go from there. Okay, so Parts and Pieces kicks in with, hey, buddy, I have a 3.5-inch pulley on the front of his machine and then a 3.5 on the back. Are you just going to deal with slipping? The answer to your question is yes. That's the reason why it is I sent you the message earlier on the Maine Mud Mowers Facebook group that you want to if you're going to deal with a 1-to-1 ratio, you want to deal with a 1-to-1 ratio with the biggest pulley size that you can fit to have that 1-to-1. So what a 1-to-1 means in layman's terms, for those of you that don't know, is that if I have a 5-inch pulley on my engine, I have a 5-inch pulley on my transmission. The thing about gear ratios and pulley ratios is that your pulley ratio does not care whether it is a 3-inch to a 3-inch or whether it is a 6-inch to a 6-inch. It's still the same pulley ratio. But the torque of your belt and its ability to grab on that is what changes. Okay? So if I have a 6-inch pulley, I have from here all the way around to here, I have all of this area that I am grabbing with the belt. Okay? If I have a 3-inch pulley, I have just this that I am grabbing with that belt. Okay? That's your difference. Your difference is all of that, all of this. So, yes, you have, if you don't want slippage and you don't want to be burning belts, you've got to run a bigger pulley with a matching bigger pulley. That's the other reason why it is I have always recommended to everybody to grab a 90s Craftsman deck drive pulley setup. And the reason being is because on a 90s Craftsman, the flange that runs from the drive pulley, the original drive pulley, down through is a solid flange. It's not belled like some of the newer ones. It is solid, which means you just slice off that deck drive pulley and you slice off the bottom of your drive pulley, you match it up and you weld it in place, and voila, you've got a 5.5-inch with extra wide flange deck pulley as your drive pulley, and you're not going to slip on that. That's the big thing that you have to go and deal with. You have to deal with the amount of belt grip that you can possibly get. All right, let's see. Oh, you're asking what I traded. No, I'm sorry. I'm not giving that away. I'm not going to give away what it is that I traded until the video comes up. You guys will find out in the video exactly what I traded for the tractor and find out whether I got it up and running and stuff like that. But as far as that goes, you're going to have to wait for the video. All right, so let's see. Carts and cameras. What is the fastest you have ever gone on a mower? I actually, the fastest I've ever been on a mower, I actually never posted to YouTube. And the reason being is because it was so scary for what I was doing on the bumpy trails I was on that I immediately, within a day, decided to go and rip it out and put in a different pulley ratio. I have gone 28 miles per hour down my driveway on a mower, but it was with potholes and all that kind of stuff. And I threw myself and I almost ended up off in the ditch. I immediately cut it back down to a 1-to-1 ratio so I would get down below that 28. And it's been solid and stable ever since. And it's the ratio that I run. We don't have flat stretches to run on our trails here in Maine. We just don't. It's constantly articulating, bouncing over roots, stuff like that. And with no major suspension in the rear, if you hit a decent pine tree root going 28 miles per hour, your whole end is going. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're getting catapulted, and it's a question of when you end up in the tree, not if. So what's the fastest I've ever gone? I've gone 28 as far as my phone was concerned. As far as the ratio that I run in my machines, I usually run a 1-to-1, which gets me about 21-ish to 20, depending on the transaxle. The 5-speed Spicer that I have in it right now, the gears are actually pretty short. I don't know what my top speed on the machine is right now, but I'm going to bet it's slow. I'm going to bet it's probably 17, 18 right now. But the thing is, as you guys saw, 17 to 18 miles per hour when you catch that front tire is more than enough to be able to flip you and do some damage. So that's just my take on it. Okay, guys, me and the hat, we're going to call it a night. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. And thank you guys for catching in, for checking up on me. Holy cow, I can't talk anymore. As it is right now, I'm planning on doing another one of these live chats in 2 weeks unless something changes. If for some reason something changes or something comes up, I will make sure to post some sort of post to Instagram, Facebook, and I'll post something to the community tab on the YouTube page. Otherwise than that, plan on 2 weeks from today there being another live chat. Everybody have fun and stay out of trouble.